How you doing? www.andrewmarkmusic.com. And today I want to talk about the relationship between skepticism and spirituality. I'm both. I value skepticism. I value critical thinking. And I've had so many spiritual experiences in my life that I can only describe myself as a spiritualist. I identify as a Christian Gnostic, but that's not what this video is about. As far as general estimates, there's about 19 major religions on the planet. Christendom is divided up into approximately 34,000 schisms. You probably have the same number within, Islam, Hinduism, just, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of religious claims within groups. And then if you factored in individuals like, crazies out in the desert, 2,500 years ago, and everything that they claimed, we may have millions upon millions of spiritual claims. And the point of the skeptic is that there's no proof for any of these claims. And nobody can prove, and nobody has proved that any of their claims are true. Now, as a spiritual Christian Gnostic, I cannot prove my claims. So I hold my beliefs within spiritual hypothesis. I put hypothesis in brackets. And it's just personal. It's just what I've come to think is true. Now, do I believe it to be true? Yes, I believe it to be true. But that's a whole different issue, about what I'm trying to get at here. Now, the other aspect of this is materialism and what's happened with materialism, since the Enlightenment. And it's pretty clear by now that there's groups of people, I call them for this video the mafias, various mafias, that have taken control of civilization with a materialist mindset. Okay, so there's atheist Zionists and all kinds of different groups. They have reduced humanity to objects of financial exploitation. And I've even gone as far as to say that they've been on a murderous, decadent killing spree for a couple hundred years. I think the democide numbers are about 10,000 people per day, since the death of God. So this is no small issue, what materialism, with a certain mindset, that nothing matters. It's a type of nihilism almost, that if God doesn't exist, I can do whatever the fuck I want, because the only thing that's constricting me is my own power drives, and that I'm allowed to, in my mind, enact them fully and completely as I see fit. And this appears to me to be what's happened. And I find this extraordinarily dangerous. I mean, we've seen it played out within leftist, atheist, Marxism. The killing sprees were, horrendous compared to Christian fascism and Christian Nazism. Now, this isn't to give any credence to Christian fascism, but that's not what this video is about anyway. So what I'm trying to get at here is, how is this going to work? How do we make this work? In my view, that the best way to run a society is through secularism. We have overwhelming proof that theocracy it ends up in disaster after disaster, whether in India, Islam, and when you factor in that it runs into disaster, and nobody can prove their claims, then it's just delusion. You have a whole political system based on delusion, and they're usually not good systems. So what I'm arguing for is a secularism, and how it should be. A secular society should be run by the rule of law, but the very important point here is that the rule of law be interpreted by the best of logic and reason. And that's the ideal, that's what it should be. But what's happened is, in the last 200 years, as I mentioned, various mafias have taken over, and they control the courts, they control the entertainment, everything. They control the corporations, the governments, and they have, this vision that they want to bring in to the planet. So we have this, this tension between religious claims, spiritual claims, and what's the best way to run a society. Well, you have my view on it. Now, if we were to have a healthy secular system, how would we manage the multiplicity of spiritual claims? And there's only one way to do it, in my opinion, and that's to make sure that the spiritual claims of anybody are not considered or factored in to the social structure. Okay, so under this system, anybody can believe whatever you want. You can believe in fairies, you can believe in pixies, you can believe in Jehovah, you can believe in Allah, you can believe in Vishnu, Brahma, you can believe in, Anatman, whatever it is that you want to believe in and claim to be the universal truth is fine. You can believe it. Now, the caveat there is this is a culture based on the rule of law. So you cannot break the best laws that are put in place by the best understanding of reason and logic. Okay, so you cannot do harm to other people under this system because of your spiritual beliefs. But you are allowed to have them. You're allowed to hold your beliefs. If you want to believe that, that Satan is the worst thing that could ever happen in the universe, or you want to worship it, go right ahead. Okay, you can do whatever you want under this system. Now, I think the most important aspect of this is that claims to exceptionalism, claims to privileged access, claims that your particular view of spirituality is the ultimate truth, right? And then using that for influence has to come to an end. Okay? If you cannot prove your claim, then you cannot have influence. Okay? And that goes for myself too. I'm not looking as a Christian Gnostic to have influence over politics. All right? It should be a completely separate secular field. But the best politics and the best society would have at its foundation access for human beings to try and find out about who they are, what this is. So it would encourage that. It would encourage philosophy. It would encourage, actualization. But all the baggage that comes along with that can only be acceptable in a non-political dialogue. Okay, so we can talk to each other or not. Right? You can say, because I'm a Christian Gnostic, that, I'm evil and I'm wrong, dead wrong, couldn't be more wrong. And you're allowed to have that view as I am allowed to have that view about your belief. But that's it. It can only just be a non-political dialogue as far as almost like an academy of philosophy, right? We just all go in there and we debate it out, hopefully in a civil way. And the truth is, just until somebody can actually prove their claim, then this is the only workable that I can think of. It's the only workable solution to this problem of the multiplicity of spiritual claims. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I think I've made my point there. I think it's a valid point. I think if we are going to survive in any kind of healthy way, which I don't think we will, but if we were, I would think it would have to look something like this. Now, the only caveat is if somebody could prove their claim. So if the Jehovah Witnesses could prove their claim that they are the absolute truth, and they could prove it in a way, so say that Jehovah turns on every TV and every computer and every radio station at 11 a.m. this Sunday morning, and starts, getting the top person in the Jehovah Witness organization to broadcast for God, for Jehovah, and saying, okay, I'm Jehovah, every TV, every radio's on. Okay, they proved their claim. And then at that point we have to either say, okay, this is really happening, and Jehovah's God, a Jehovah Witness, or just shut up. I mean, this is 10,000 years of every imaginable claim about the universe, and most of them are ridiculous, right? And I say that as a Christian Gnostic, but as far as my own personal belief, I've worked it out in my own mind, so it doesn't contradict reason and logic. It's to me a highly reasonable and logical spiritual position, even though it's based on dualistic thinking and dualistic theology. And I really dislike the condescension of the non-dual schools towards this kind of dualistic thinking. It's offensive, to be honest. And prove your claim. But don't prove it to me. Prove it to everybody. For non-duality to be true, you have to prove it to everyone. Turn on the TVs, okay? Get the whatever it is who's the chief of non-duality to just turn on all the TVs and say, this is it, it's non-dual. Okay, do something. And if you can't do anything, then shut the fuck up. All right? And let's just try and make this planet survive for another 100 years. I mean, that should be the priority. Anyway, www.andrewmarkmusic.com. Peace out, peace the fuck out.